Hey guys, so I got a few comments and I wanted to follow up with an overview of my new Seven Evergreen XX. And first I'll tell you why I got this frame. This frame was a warranty replacement. Seven stands behind their products. And my 7 Sola SLX, the frame cracked and they replaced it. And it's unusual. Titanium frames don't crack that often, but when you're making it with ultra butted tubing, you do have a higher chance. Now, I don't weigh that much. I weigh 160, 155. I stay in that range. But it was made with a single speed with a rigid fork, and I rode it pretty hard. So perhaps they didn't take that into account, but not only did the frame crack, but the headset actually cracked, and it wasn't a Chris King, it was a CaneCreek headset, and it was the 110 headset. I got to warranty that, but that's got a warranty on it too. Anyway, so let's talk about this build. First off, I got it painted, and this paint job is the paint job for the Manta Ray. So the Manta Ray is Seven's brand new gravel model that's made for adventure. So I wanted to make an evergreen made for adventure because I already have that other evergreen that it's made more for all road. And if you guys know gravel cycling, you know you can go either direction. You can make it more on the road side of things and the racing side of things, or you can make it more on the adventure and monster gravel side of things. So this tubing for the XX is their Cirrus TC tubing. That means it's ultra butted. It's super butted in here, super thin, and it's made only for people up to 200 pounds. And they really, Seven, if you guys saw my past videos, Seven does all their in-house tubing. They probably have the largest selection of titanium tubing, and they build everything custom to you, to your size, to your weight, to your riding style, how stiff do you want it, everything. So again, with the frame, I had it built with a T47 bottom bracket, and I think T47 is the way to go. It will be the bottom bracket I will use for all my new bike builds. Now that I've rode it, I see why. And I had them build this up, and they use the ENVE fork. This is the ENVE Adventure fork that has the bolts for adding bike packing and stuff like that. I wanted that, but the main reason I wanted it, because this is a fork that has that flip chip to move it forward a little bit more, because my biggest concern was toe over. So now with this, I don't have any toe over, and I didn't want to have toe over with my gravel bike, especially when I'm going down chunky trails. The bars are the Salza wood chipper carbon, the 46, so they're super wide, but I had this in mind with the build, and I had them use the ENVE 31/8 65 millimeter stem. So this is the M6 stem and 65 millimeters. It's a very short stem. And then I also, when I built this up, kept all the spacers in here. This is the Chris King headset with the Chris King matching spacers. And all of them are in there to boost this up to give me that higher stack height. One thing with the XX frame is you get internal routing. That was another thing I wanted with this new frame, because my other one had cable stops and the exposed cable down here. I just didn't think that was good for the long run for a gravel bike. For an all-road it's fine, but for a gravel bike or a mountain bike, I think you either have to have full housing cable or you have to have internal cable. But having cable stops for a mountain bike or a gravel bike that's used a lot off-road just doesn't make sense to me. And agree or disagree, that's just how I feel. The water bottle cages, I've had them, they're Silka Silka has some adjustability. Wolf Tooth also makes some water bottle cages like that. I was going to get, I was just going to paint them matching this color, but I kind of like the titanium, plain titanium color on there now that I've seen them on there. And I've got a space for a third water bottle cage here. So I'm also thinking of just doing a bag, a half bag with one water bottle here, and then the other water bottle down there. So that'll give me some more room for bike packing. I'm not, I have my tool pack up here with that Silka roll-up pack. I like the Silka because you can really cinch it down and tighten it up. I don't like a saggy bike, saddle bag. It just seems weird. Now this is kind of a cool thing. This is the ENVE dropper post. Now with the gravel dropper post, or this gravel dropper post, it only goes down 40 millimeters. So it doesn't go down a lot. So if you're like me and used to 150, 170 dropper post, it doesn't seem that significant. But what I notice is when I drop it down here, and I'm also in my drops, it really feels nice. Actually, that's the good combination, is to be able to drop it and then get on the drops. So I'm not so lean down when I'm going downhill. I like that. But I do ride on the hoods a lot, as you guys probably do too. So got the stem, the handlebars. Now this is the Shimano GRX group, and this time it's the full GRX group. As you know, my all-road gravel bike has the Ultegra group, but with the Hope brakes, this is the full GRX group with the GRX brakes. Okay, so that's the top of the line GRX, the 800s, and I like having a complete Gruppo. It's kind of nice when it comes to that. But I went ahead and kept those Hope rotors on there just because they look nice, but I also have some Dura Ace rotors that I'll switch it back and forth as I switch wheel sets. This wheel set, speaking of wheel sets, is the wheel set I had from my other gravel bike with the Chris King hubs in that gray pewter matte finish with the Explore rims. So this is a carbon rim from Zipp, and they were able to, Wheel Builder was able to get the rims by themselves and then build up this wheel set with the Chris King hubs, because I did not want these Zipp hubs. I wanted my own hubs, and it was going to be either Chris King or White Industry or Hadley or Onyx, but I just don't like some of those basic hubs that you get from complete wheel builds, especially from big companies like Zipp and stuff like that typically use less expensive parts in their hubs, and they're just not the hubs I like. I want to go with an American company with American hubs and so on and so forth. This is an XT cassette. It goes up to 42. So having a 42 back here with this 44. Now this is what I did with my crank set. This is a 170 millimeter crank arm, which I think 170 is as small as I'll ever go on a gravel bike. Maybe on a mountain bike I would consider going shorter, just because you're not riding as long, and leverage over time isn't as important on a mountain bike. But on a century ride, doing a real short 160, 165 crank does not make sense to me. And I don't have any knee issues or any reason to go super short on my gravel bike. So this is a 170. As a matter of fact, these E-wings that are, this is CaneCreek E-wings, if you've noticed. These E-wings only go down to 170. To get the shorter ones, you have to go with the mountain E-wings. And then the mountain E-wings, not the all-road, the mountain E-wings have a longer spindle. These have the shorter spindle for gravel or for road. Then this is the CaneCreek Spider, so I could get the regular 110 BCD and put that 44 tooth in there, because I didn't want to go all the way down to the direct mount 142. I wanted to be able to switch it around, and switching around on a BCD just with the chainring bolts is a lot easier than having to pull off your crank to do a center lock or a direct mount mounting to your crank arm, so you can just take the chain ring off without pulling off your crank, which is nice if you have mixed conditions, or maybe you're traveling and you don't really know what you want, so you'll bring a couple chain rings. Going up 2 teeth or dropping down 2 teeth shouldn't matter with your chain length too much, but if you go more than 2 teeth, you probably would want to bring a couple chains with you. That's just a for instance. GRX, I always keep my GRX in a locked position unless I'm pulling off my wheel. But you can leave it unlocked. Some people like it unlocked to make it a little more, a little more friendly, I guess, to shifting. But I've never had problems shifting, leaving it locked on all the time. Now these chain stays are called the Moto stays, and they have a little bit of slope in it, if you notice. I don't know if the camera picks it up because of the lens setting, but they have a little bit of a slope down. Gives it a little more flexible feel. Now, you know, with a big company and a company that's been making titanium frames for 30 years, they can really manipulate everything, including the tubing and the chain stay and the seat stays. They're not just buying tubing from other manufacturers, they're making it in-house. So you know when you're getting that extra detail to attention with a company like Seven. And that's why I went with Seven. The seat post clamp is a wolf tooth. Now let me ask your opinion. Should I just put the Seven seat post clamp back on? But I had this laying around. It was going to go on my single speed, because as you know, my single speed has a lot of oil slick and blue on it, and I was going to put this, but since it wasn't put on there and I'd have to, you know, undo my dropper post and everything like that, I went ahead and put it on here. But you know, again, you know, when you switch out seat post clamp and you have a dropper post, you have to actually unhook your dropper post, so it's kind of a pain. The saddle was a leftover saddle from my 7 SLX single speed, which I wasn't sitting on it too much. I'm not sure if I like sitting on this for a long time. I might change that to ergon saddle, but this is a nice saddle. The SL8 or Slate saddle from WTB, super lightweight saddle, and it's pretty comfortable, fits me pretty well. The pedals were these were the original pedals I had on my other Evergreen, and they're one-sided, which means you scuff up the other side, and it's not as quick engaging as double-sided pedals, but they are light. I like that, but I'll be switching these back and forth with my rally pedals since I want to use my power meter and see how my power meter is on my Century rides especially. I think that's covered about everything. So I just wanted to give you, the bar tape is the Supercaz Spaz or Cush bar tape. So kind of it's probably about a 2 millimeter. They don't say the size, but I'm guessing 2 millimeter. But I just like the color. It kind of worked, and I might get the EE Wings bar ends. I'm not sure if I want to do that with blue. That's the other thing I was thinking. Or I can get the wolf tooth bar ends and put those in there. I actually have the wolf tooth in my garage, but I haven't decided if I want to put those on there. And then I put this little mount for my Garmin up here. This is just a cheap mount, but I'll probably go with the KS. I can't remember the name of the company that makes the really nice machined ones, but I just wanted to grab one real quick and have my camera mount. And I was looking around for one. I didn't find one right away. This one I found right away. It was just a matter of click and buy while I found it. I think that's about it, you guys. So let me know what you think, and I'm sorry that last video didn't do it any justice for going through the details of my build. I hope this gives you all the details of my build. The chainstay is a dropped. Now they have another one that goes down even further. It's called the chopped, but this is the dropped. So this is about the only custom thing I had to do because it's the XX frame. The internal cable route is included. This was not included. That was like another $200 or something to do that. So the rest of the frame was pretty much a complete frame the way they build it. And then of course I had to add the fork and then the paint job. So there you go, you guys. I hope you like it, and give me your comments below. But if you have an opportunity to get a 7 and you think it's worth it to go with one of the best companies for making custom titanium frames and that make their own titanium tubing in-house, I would check out Seven. I'm just for me. If you are going to build up something that you are probably going to get rid of in a couple years, then I mean, why even get tie at that point? But you could also get an inexpensive tie, figuring out I'm just going to probably switch it out to something new in a few years. This is a lifetime bike, you guys. This is a bike that I will write in my will and give to my kids. So that's how I feel about this. And luckily, my sons they're both taller than me, but not too much taller, so it shouldn't be too bad for them. I'll talk to you guys later.